Hola, amigo.
Hola, papi. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. And how is my shooter doing?
My shooter don't miss. I'm doing great, Ty. I am drinking an IPA.
Mm-hmm.
This one is from Yellow Dog Brewing Company.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Play Dead IPA, Ty. And
Mm-hmm.
I've been looking forward to this moment all week. It is Tuesday afternoon. To crack of this beer and record with you.
Yeah, dude. I know a thing or two about playing dead because I'm recording from my sweat lodge, aka hot car with the windows up right now. It,
Mm-hmm.
much like a dog, I will be playing dead by the end of this episode because I will be completely dehydrated. The
Woof,
it
woof.
feel Ow! Yeah, dude, we're gonna find that dog in me. But
Oh
you know when
shit.
all these like CEOs like go to these like sweat camps in like the middle of the desert, which is really ironic because all their employees work in like also in
Sweatshops?
sweat shops. Yeah, they're like paying to go to these nice like exotic camps where they sit in a room and sweat all day and think about how to
so
disrupt taxis.
so okay, wait, I need some more clarification. When you say sweat camps, is this like a retreat with fellow Silicon Valley executives where, they're able to like do like an aerobics class together, maybe do some hot girl Pilates and like truly sweat it out because they're used to sitting in their Herman Miller all day?
Hmm.
Or is this more of like a brain sweat station where you can kind of like, it's like more of a focus group vibe where the CEOs get together and ideate ways to suppress the lower class?
Mm. I think it's the first one, but then the output is the second one.
Okay,
I mean,
great.
all I know about these like sweat retreats is from Arrested Development, but from what I understand, you and your like-minded C-suite friends retreat to the desert, but you're not going to Burning Man. You're going to like a yurt, and some like man with a bun on his head teaches you about deep breathing, and you sweat a lot in a circle. You probably don't talk much. I'm sure it's one of those silent retreats, and then you emerge
Mm,
from it cleansed and seeing the world in different ways. Perhaps you do like some MDMA while you're there or something.
yeah. Wow.
A toaster
I
oven
mean,
of
I'm
sorts.
an innovation innovation incubator.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I'm kind of into this idea because I'm like a
Inchovation. Sorry.
yeah, when the sandwich artist questions me and presses me about my sandwich order, I just say I'm intubating.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I'm kind of like a mental wellness proponent, I guess you could say, Ty. I'm into this kind
Hmm.
of like wispy, like retreat bullshit. But I think
Hmm.
where you lose me is when you start to bring up breath work as one of the courses. Because like because I just think that's like the one where it's a little bit too um like we're circle jerking a little bit here, guys. Like we
Hmm.
all know how to breathe. I know if I'm nervous, I take a deep breath, and that's about all you need to know, right?
Hmm. I totally get that, dude. I think that we're all experts in breathing because the ones that weren't are no longer with us. Um, and
Exactly.
I honestly, I don't really even really believe in mental well-being whatsoever. Uh, for two reasons. One, I'm mentally fit, so I just assume that everyone else is too. And if you're not, then that's on you to deal with. And two, I think that when you let your demons grow, you create better art. Look at some
Mm.
of the defining artists of our generation, both
Hmm.
Sandwich and Kanye. And
So whoever's making that fucking the most bomb Subway sandwich is actually like is really struggling the hardest, right? Like they have some
dude,
crazy issues at home, but when they come to work, they're just absolutely destroying it.
facts, bro. Like if you walk in the subway and your sandwich artist isn't even looking at their phone, they're just staring at the faux brick wall. Like you're gonna get a fucking fire foot long. Like that guy is down bad.
Hmm. Yeah, they've been waiting for you to come in all day because it's the only dopamine they're able to get anymore.
Potentially,
Incredible.
socialization too.
Hmm. So is there like maybe a forbidden PowerPoint somewhere up at Subway HQ that it's only like on a need to know basis,
Hmm.
and the contents of this PowerPoint are like, how do we depress our staff in order to create
Hmm.
better art? Like, do you think this
Hmm.
exists somewhere in the focus groups of Subway HQ?
Oh, for sure. There's some diagrams, or the very least a unspoken principle about this. I'm sure it works into their hiring practice. They're looking for people that
Hmm.
really that have growth potential. I think that's a dog whistle for down on their luck. um,
I can fix her.
yeah, they want people they can fix, because I think, like, if you don't work for Subway, you're not like a Subway exec if you don't like customizing things. And the ultimate employee, the ultimate like sheeple type persona underneath you is someone that you can fully customize. So you need someone who is uh, has no life or mind of their own, no willpower left, like really looking for help.
Truly, because you already know sandwich artists are looking for help when their customer is helping them make the sandwich. Like, that's
Hmm.
as useless as you can get. Like, you're really just fulfilling a task at that point.
Yeah, dude. Like at the end of the sandwich ordering
Brilliant.
process, I want to like pull out my Square reader and show them the tip options. Like, go ahead. How do you think I did? How was my service today?
That's actually a funny idea. Like, one day I'm going to turn the machine around and be like, rate yourself. Like,
Yeah.
I'll let you put anything here, and
Oh,
then
dude.
just see what they do. Like the obviously the nicest thing would be to say, like, actually, you know what, no tip is okay. I'm happy
Hmm.
to save you some money today. But I'm
Hmm.
curious, like, there's got to be some, you know, down sad XXX Tentacion listening e-girl who just made me the most amazing ham sandwich is going to tap the 18% button.
Yo, blank check, baby. Just
Yeah.
like anything but the custom amount action. Like, I got a
Mm-hmm.
withdrawal limit, you see?
Mm-hmm. But what they don't know is I'm going to see the amount when I turn it back around,
Hmm.
and, you know, all bets are off at that point, Ty.
Right.
What
Because
happens next?
if it's too much, then you could probably submit a complaint. That would be pretty
Hmm.
funny.
Yeah. Do you think there's like a rule against it? Like, do you think HQ is like absolutely no interference with the payment terminal?
I don't know. Probably because they like to keep their artists like militant level obedience. There's very few things that they can do. They can't move the sandwich up and down the line. They can only say about 5 words. But I would encourage them to participate in the act of tipping with me, because it's part of the co-creation, is figuring out what is this, did you make, what is it worth, you like, art is something that is very difficult to price.
Hmm. It's worth what the customer is willing to pay at the end of the day. And what am I willing to pay, Ty? Whatever it says on the board, nothing more, nothing less.
I don't know, man. I'm not reading those numbers. My eyes are down low, below the waistline. I'm talking about the buckets, though, not the bulge.
When the lettuce bucket's bulging, Ty's
Hmm.
scooping.
Yep, dude. I love when the buckets are so full that they're actually bulging out a little bit at the top, like Mount Tomato or Mount Shreddis, because you're getting the freshest shit. Like, it looks like one of those like Chinese markets you walk by. They got all of the like the interesting medicinal things in these boxes just overflowing. But it's
Mount,
seldom that.
yeah, Mount Fuji. I didn't know Subway had mushrooms.
Whoa, I wish they did, dude. It'd be a really good
um,
meat alternative.
Ty, earlier in this brilliant episode, we talked a little bit about CEOs doing MDMA. I
Hmm.
can name at least two CEOs that are currently actively on MDMA. One of them
Okay,
is at the Business of Fashion
facts.
company.
Hmm. Yeah.
because I shared this with you earlier, but there was an article posted on LinkedIn, and the excerpt that was, copied and pasted into the body of the message said, I quote, to call the Aesop's Resurrection Aromatique hand wash a hand soap feels somehow rude, if technically correct, like saying Subway employee instead of sandwich artist.
Wow.
So here we have the failing business of fashion, BOF, as the streets like to call it.
Hmm.
They're likening Aesop, which is the darling brand of Think Fresh podcast,
Hmm.
um, to a sandwich artist at Subway, which is the other forgotten
Hmm.
stepchild of Think Fresh podcast.
Yep.
Thoughts?
These two brands are the same, two sides of the same Think Fresh inch coin. Um, so
Sakes.
uh, this is really interesting because up until today, I thought we were the only media publication to openly talk about both Aesop and Subway in the same sentence. I don't think
Hmm.
that they have crossed the minds of many other um, platforms, but here we are with Business of Fashion, more in common with us than I originally thought. Maybe they're not as
Hmm.
torched as I originally thought too, but
Hmm.
wh-
I mean, maybe we should rename ourselves as the business of footlongs, Ty, because
mm,
clearly we're swimming in similar lanes here. Um, and obviously, I did not click on the article because it costs 98 cents to read. So I'm just
mm,
going off of this one quote.
mhm.
But what I imagine they get into here is the um, scent manipulating abilities of the Resurrection Aromatique hand wash, especially after a
Hmm.
sub.
Yeah. So this is a really interesting deep dive because we've talked a lot about the discrepancy between a sandwich artist and a Subway employee. There's clearly a gray area there depending on their performance. Uh, Business of Fashion is making a claim that Aesop's resurrection, which isn't even the good one, is barely a is like transcends hand soap, which
Mm-mm.
I do believe in. I'm more of a reverence guy, but I do believe in what they're saying that it introduces a whole new tier of what hand
Mhm.
soap could be.
Mhm.
Um,
You're absolutely right.
so, but it's so interesting that they would compare that to not like a career server or a maitre d' or some other like
Mhm.
well-established culinary figure, but rather the ubiquitous sandwich artist.
It's truly fascinating that they drew that parallel. Um,
Hmm.
but I guess, to round out your point, the resurrection flavor of hand soap is kind of like the default. It's like the white bread at Subway.
Hmm.
It's kind of like what gets you in the door. But then as soon as you're, stepping up to the mound, you're seeing the herbs and cheese right in front of you, and you're like, how can I not get that? So
Hmm.
that's how I view the resurrection versus the reverence soaps. Resurrection obviously being the herbs and cheese. It's got a little bit of
Hmm.
spice in there, and
Hmm.
it's got that gritty feeling, just like the top bun at Subway.
Totally. Well, I completely agree with that. I feel like the problem is I'm not really a big fan of Mandarin rind. Like, I think it kind of is reminiscent of like orange
Sounds kind of
creamsicle.
racist.
Whenever a little bit racist too. That
Yo, what's
Australian
wrong with
bias.
them? Yeah, what's wrong with the mandarins, bro?
Hmm. And I also don't like the actual rind itself isn't that like textured, and so it kind of just feels like any other soap. But like when you get that beading in there with the bergamot rind, you get like a way more like mature aroma, and then like the
Hmm.
texture just feels like it's opening up the hand pores. And
Hmm.
I think that's really good to have because like these are my hands look like this because of the footlongs I've eaten. And I need a little bit of a spa like home treatment when I walk
Hmm.
back in my front door.
Hmm. Yeah, we all know about how difficult it is not only to get the hand smell off of your greasy little fingers, but
Hmm.
you also need to get off that sticky, pesky sauce, which is, near impossible. But it isn't anymore thanks to the um, microplastics found in the Aesop reference
Yeah,
soap.
Jesus. Damn. Way to go to Aesop for shout out to Aesop for changing the narrative around microplastics.
Hmm.
That is another thing
Absolutely.
them and Subway have in common.
You're right, dude. The tuna and the reverend soap, you might as well see a tuna swimming around in there the way it's
Hmm.
filled with microplastics.
Hmm. What is Subway bread but a plastic bottle to contain the material you actually want?
Exactly, exactly. Anyways, waking up to this kind of article first thing in the morning, it gets me hungry, Ty. I'm not gonna lie. It gets me excited to pod with you. Gets me hungry to
Hmm.
consume a footlong. I actually walked by a Subway today because I stopped at the
Hmm.
mall to pick up something. Um, and I gotta say, man, I had some self control today. I guess is what I'm trying to say. I saw the neon sign and I just kept moving, bro. I just like couldn't do it.
Wow. Were you not hungry? Were you in a
I
rush? I don't believe
was
that it's
hungry.
just self-control.
I was hungry, um, but I decided, you know what? Bay cooked up some beautiful, absolutely beautiful pasta last night that I was able to reheat for lunch today. And
Mm,
I gotta say, the joy of saving that, $15. I didn't have my coupons on me. Also, if I had my
mhm.
coupons with me, that would have been a whole different story. Um, but I managed to get home unscathed.
Dude, this is the bane of coupons. Like once a coupon enters your life, it's pretty hard to go back to post coupon life. Um, if you, the breadheads, want to use a coupon, we'd recommend using coupon code Think Fresh at Layered Superfood if you get want to get 15% off any coffee creamers or protein bars or adaptive mushroom mixtures directly from surfers in Australia. They know their coffee
That's
creamers.
right. That's right. If I were to buy any kind of mushrooms online, you better believe it's from an Australian. And
Hmm.
that Australian can be Laird or Aesop, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Um,
dude.
and the easiest way to do that is to click on the link in the description of this episode, and it'll take you right there. Don't need to type in nothing, it'll just work for you.
Hmm.
Um, Happy shopping, breadheads.
Yeah, get shopping. Damn.
Beautiful.
So,
Well, what's up, Ty? What do you got on the topics list today?
I was just gonna ask you what's new with Subway. Um, how Dude, I'm so hot right now. I'm literally gonna pass out. I'm drinking an iced
Dude,
latte to try to beat the heat, but all the ice is melting at a speed faster than I can consume it.
hmm, it's amazing. I mean, right now, Ty, in this soundproof booth that I'm in right now, I have the AC blasting. I have a YSL candle burning, and
Damn.
I'm just I'm just enjoying myself beyond what was expected of me today. But I did want to quickly touch on a couple things in the news today. Um,
Mm.
First one, which is probably most relevant to our Instagram following, is that Adidas is back to selling Yeezys.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to get your thoughts on this because, Adidas obviously had a falling out with Kanye, and,
Mm-hmm.
Kanye did some like horrible things digitally. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and Adidas found it within themselves to forgive him. Maybe they didn't forgive him. I don't know, but they're willing to get paid. So they're selling footlongs. I mean, sandwiches again. I mean, Yeezys.
Jesus.
um, but get this: what if Subway started running Fogle ads again?
Dude, bringing
That's the
back
same thing.
a fallen role model. It isn't really the same thing because Kanye was verbally um, hard to align with. We'll say,
Mm.
difficult to see what he was saying, understand, um, and Fogle. I don't know. Probably touched some children in some the wrong places. So it's like I think they're like different leagues of bad.
Totally. And I'll just make a disclaimer here that Think Fresh does not condone either of these fellas.
Mm.
But however, this is partially a comedy podcast, so let's just indulge in the conversation here, Ty.
Hypothetically, if we had to forgive one of them, it would probably be Kanye.
That's true. But they might not be as different as we think, because both Kanye and Jared Fogle were apprehended for causing crimes or committing crimes of a digital nature.
Mm,
Do we know if Fogle really did touch them kids, or
that's
was it
true.
simply possessing um, digital assets? Let's just say that were illegal,
His
much like Kanye's
NFT
tweets.
collection. You're right.
Exactly.
Um, NF
Non-fuckable
toddler
teens.
collection. Yeah.
God damn
Damn.
it. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, no, you're right. Okay,
And
there's more overlap than I let on.
mhm. And just to be
I
clear,
okay.
Think Fresh does not align with either camps of thought.
hmm
We're just simply having the conversation.
You're right. You're right. So okay. So it was just a matter of time before Adidas brought Kanye back on staff, back on payroll because they were bleeding money since this cancellation of the collab,
Mm-hmm.
both on both
Mm-hmm.
sides. Like two broke boys trying to get their bag back up. It makes sense they would reconvene. And in our capitalistic society, like at a certain point, the financial gains outweigh the bad press of reigniting that toast. Um, in the case of Fogle and Subway, I don't know if there are any like the challenge is Kanye and both Kanye and Adidas have such loyal fans. They're almost breadhead level loyalty, right? That it's going to take a lot more from Ye for them to really stop buying his products. But I don't think
Mm-hmm.
Fogle had a huge fan base, and Subway's
Literally
Subway's
zero.
yeah, Subway's patrons are not known for their loyalty either. Although
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people get everyone is kind of a sleeper Subway loyalist. Like everyone will openly shit on Subway and then be like, "Oh, but here's my favorite sub," you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no one's willing to admit that they love Subway or even go to Subway, but they know what they're getting before they step foot in that door. You know what I mean?
hmm
It's like
Yeah.
it's it's just like a part of their personality, whether they like it or not. And
hmm
that's what makes me think that like Subway, and not Fogle specifically, but Subway and its advertising resonates with people, much
hmm
like the Yeezys do.
Well, okay, the difference between the Yeezys and the Footlongs is that the Yeezys are like a very like top level like identity constructor. You purchase the pair of Yeezys that Kanye made, you then through monetary payment link yourself to both the Yeezys movement and the kind of like Kanye cult of personality, and you can kind of masquerade that as your identity. It's really easy. It's um almost fast food identity purchasing. Whereas at
Wow.
Subway, it actually requires a lot more investment in the sandwich creation for the footlong that you make to be a reflection of your identity. You have to be a bit more vulnerable. You have to make decisions for yourself, like a so called free thinker. And the
Hmm.
output is a footlong that really represents you. But the challenge is it's so much lower on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that footlong. To you, it falls in the necessity kind of column, like food and safety, whereas Yeezys are kind of in this. The Yeezys are in the self-actualization column of the pyramid. But you don't realize, most people don't realize how much that Subway sandwich says about them, what it says about their identity, and how much it represents them. They only see it as food and security, right? So
Hmm.
I don't think people would be upset if Subway ever, I guess, like ended, if the Subway narrative ended. But I don't think they'd realize how much of themselves that they are losing if Subway were to ever go away.
Hmm. Yeah, you're right. If I mean, it's one of those classic cases of like us not celebrating somebody until they're dead. You know what I
hmm
mean? Like if Subway were to ever sunset, God God forbid,
Mhm.
subset, um, I think we would all be up in arms and we would immediately donate to a GoFundMe to bring
Mhm.
back the way, and if not, like some kind of at least some kind of carbon copy of it, where it's like with
Totally.
Kanye, it's like fashion is cyclical, and we don't necessarily like, even though we did adopt it heavily as a part of our identity in the moment, it's not something we're gonna carry through forever. Where it's like
Mhm.
people will always remember Subway as like, oh yeah, I used to go there with the boys after soccer practice.
Mhm. Subway is too ubiquitous in one's life to really just ever disappear completely. To lose Subway, for it to vanish from our planet, there would be so many
Hmm.
touch points. It's kind of like having a parent die, you know? It's like everywhere you
Hmm.
look, you see that in the world, and that would be really hard to
Hmm.
reconcile with.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Especially every time you get hungry, you just think like, God damn it, I could go for a footlong right now.
dude. Kind of like when like Pop Smoke died and there's all these like posthumous like albums and stuff coming out, Juice World. If Subway were to ever go bankrupt, do you think people would be making like posthumous footlongs in the honor of Subway? They'd be like, "Oh yeah, I made this at home. R.I.P. the way."
Hmm.
Or like other restaurants maybe would do their take on the BMT respectfully.
That's exactly the latter was exactly what I was picturing. Quiznos, the crooked Q
Mm-hmm.
word, Thai would launch a menu item called, I don't know, the Subway or something. It would
Mm-hmm.
be like a direct homage to the way itself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but luckily for us, we don't have to worry about that. Ty, 44,000 locations. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah,
If it ever gets down to just one, then me and you are gonna pitch in and get the second one, and we might be the only Subway to ever live on.
dude. We got to make sure that we'll be like the last Best Buy. It'll be Ty and Eric on. We'll call it Terminus Station.
That's great. And you're talking about
Beautiful.
Blockbuster, right?
What did I say? Best Buy? Oh shit. The logos look so similar. It's the exact same color palette.
Hmm. Yeah, you're right.
Honest mistake.
I love Terminus Station as the final destination of sandwich
Mm-hmm.
goers. You know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. Kind of like in Rome when I was there last year. The central station in Rome was Rome Termini, and it kind of
Mm.
sounds like cremini mushrooms.
Roma Cremini. Dude, I want to eat that flatbread.
Hell yeah, dude. Um, wow, dude, that's actually pretty inspiring. Like, imagine if
Mm-hmm.
the world is like in like a Last of Us kind of dystopian future, and then you
Mm-hmm.
have like Pedro Pascal and some hungry little teenager wandering in a
Mm-hmm.
dystopian Vancouver, and they come across the last subway on Earth, still slinging footlongs.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
Wow. Um, it would be very on brand for a man and a young girl to go into Subway. But dude, it's kind of crazy because like in a post-apocalyptic situation, everyone's just going to get diarrhea and die. But our our customers will be perfectly safe because we won't wash any of our vegetables, so no bad water will touch them.
Yeah, this is gonna be a subway in Mexico. Actually,
Yeah,
everyone's gonna get diarrhea because we washed the lettuce. It's simple as that.
yeah, it's that simple. That's the
Fucking
fate
hell.
for, but not our customers. Come to Terminus Subway in the event of a zombie apocalypse. You will be well fed, taken care of, and what do you think a zombie can storm those faux brick walls? I
Mm-hmm.
don't think so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you may feel terminally hungry, but hop into the terminus station at Subway HQ. We'll be the new HQ, and
Mm-hmm.
we'll keep you fed. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Beautiful.
all will be well until we accidentally create a net new patient zero from
Mm-hmm.
the intubation happening behind those four walls.
Mm-hmm. I want to mention another topic that was in the news recently. More NBA news for you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Are you aware of the player Morant?
I am aware of Morant. He's a close cousin
Well,
of Isabel.
nice. Well, the streets are now calling him Warrant, because this guy is, slinging guns on IG Live yet again. He didn't learn his lesson the first time. So
Oh no.
um, now this guy is going to be suspended probably at the beginning of the season. Um, but, it made me think once again, Ty, of Jared Fogle.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God he didn't live in the social media era, and he was able to get out of here before then, because things would have been way worse for him, I imagine.
I don't know, man. I think if he is just like AI generated a bunch of NFTs, then he he then enters a legal gray area where it might have been a bit more. He might still be
Hmm.
representing Subway. I don't really know.
It's kind of interesting, Ty. If you AI generate something illegal, can you be, um, you know, can you get in trouble for that? I don't really know if you can, because it's like we should almost be celebrating that. It's like a
Yeah,
victimless crime at that point. It's like
yeah.
you are aware of how evil you are, and you're taking steps to not cause any harm in the real world.
You found a loophole and probably should be celebrated. But dude,
Yeah,
I
you
wouldn't
found the
want to be a
hole, all right.
politician in this upcoming era of technological disruption.
Absolutely, Ty. You'd be running for president, and then there would be like an AI version of you playing Minecraft. It's like saying the N word.
Damn, what a
Damn,
smear
bro.
campaign.
Hmm.
Um, I don't. I feel like the like the way to toast this is that there will be a future when your metaverse character can eat as many footlongs as they want without repercussions, and you, real life Eric,
Hmm.
will be slim and fit because you didn't subject your worldly body to those poisons, but boy, you got to enjoy them nonetheless.
Hmm. Thanks for talking about my body.
Yeah, dude.
The future's here,
Anytime.
Ty, and the future's here, and we have to embrace it. You know what I mean? I think it's a net positive, unless you are one of those people who is stuck in the past and goes into the subway to order. You'll be waiting in
Hmm.
line behind a bunch of AI DoorDash type of orders,
Hmm.
which sucks. It sucks to be waiting in line while no one else is there. Can you, it's pretty amazing to be alone in a subway and still have to wait.
Yeah. That's only going to become more and more common as you be outpaced by all of the technically literate or like subway patrons around you.
Hmm.
It's a
Absolutely
sad
right.
reality. So take a
It
coding
is.
boot camp so that dude, you got to take a coding boot camp just to order from Subway in 2023. Crazy.
That's right. That's right. I talk to my sandwich artist the same way I talk to Chat GPT, and I say things like, "Make me a footlong fit for a king," and then I
Mm,
say, "Now put black olives on it."
yeah, now ruin it. Um,
It's all about the modifiers.
I think we need to put a RFP out into the world for any breadheads listening. If you can hack the Subway app to promote our footlong orders to the front of the line, we will pay
Mm.
you handsomely with our layered superfoods bag for that little virus.
Yeah, avoid the virus you might get from Subway. Instead, just
Hmm.
infect it with your own.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
going to be on the right side of history here. I'm not waiting anywhere. I'm not waiting around for no artist.
that's right. Um, Another good prank would be to flood a Subway with orders using like some kind of like fake AI credit card. You know what I mean? I just want to see
Mm.
the Subway have to print out like 30 receipts and then just watch them make sandwiches all day. I think that'd be nice.
Oh, dude, that's gonna happen. Like their back end is probably not that secure. Like, I'm talking about the software, not the artists. Um, my back end not that secure when I leave Subway. Like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a matter of time before they have like hundreds of inches on deck because hackers have. uh, pre-filled their order backlog with footlong after footlong of chat GPT generated sandwiches with
Hmm.
no patron coming to
Hmm.
collect them.
Yeah, leave it to AI to determine the limits, the glass sneeze guard ceiling of what can be put on a sandwich. We
Hmm.
have yet to find out how much lettuce, in fact, can fit on a foot long because no one's ever tried.
No, no one's ever pushed an artist beyond what is socially acceptable between two humans. But as soon as it's two robots going back to back, they will find the boundaries. That's crazy.
That is crazy. Um, Ty, I don't really have much else to say. Any other topics from you?
Dude, I need to end this episode because I need to get out of this hot car. I'm actually gonna have, I'm gonna collapse. My whole body's sweating. I feel like an MMA fighter before a fight when they wear those like garbage bag sweatsuits to like drop a few pounds. That's how I feel right now.
Hmm. Yeah, you're trying to shed that water weight in order to make
Mm-hmm.
weight, in order to justify another sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
But Ty, one last thing. This weekend, I did go to a winery, and I just want to quickly share. I just want to quickly share a weird observation I made of a server that I think you would get a kick out of.
Okay, so you're at a winery. You're wearing your stealth wealth fit. Sun's beating down. Server walks up.
That's
You
right.
lower the oak leaves to engage. What happens
Hmm.
next?
That's right, Ty. I am head to toe in the row, and I'm sitting there with my family, kind of like people watching, and I'm noticing a server is like making a lot of stops at the table next to us, like more
Mm-hmm.
than normal. Like our waiter nowhere to be seen, but this woman was checking in on the table next to us constantly, and I kind of picked up on it. And then one thing I noticed was at one point she just reached in and like grabbed a piece of salami off of their plate and ate it.
Whoa.
This is what the waiter did, Ty. And I was kind of confused by that. I just like kept watching. I'm like, what's really going on here? And then I saw this woman lean over and give one of the patrons a kiss. Did you catch that or did you lag out?
I lagged out, dude. I think my phone is gonna get one of those messages on it that says overheating, remove to the shade.
Mm,
But
yeah.
the breadheads heard it. I'm sure it was absolutely horrendous how she treated those people. Like, can you imagine an can you imagine an artist doing that?
I mean, you're not wrong, Ty. If the artist leaned over and gave me a kiss on the cheek, then I would be absolutely floored by that. But um, I just wanted to share that because later on I found out that the server was actually in a relationship, a situationship with the patron, who was there with their family as well. So just want to throw that out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sandwich
Of
artists, if you're
course.
listening, don't don't eat the food that you're making for the patron. Don't give them a kiss. But if you must do that, do it in the back room where us normal folk are not allowed.
I kind of like it when I get to see a little bit the personal side of my frontline worker. You know, it makes them human. They're more than just cheese and toasted.
Yeah, I know. When you said they, say 5 words, I think it's really like three because
Mm-hmm.
it's cheese and toasted, and then they just say and. So it's only 3 words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. I was rounding up.
You were. Speaking of rounding up, let's round out this episode because the heat is getting to your iPhone 11 and it's time to log out and let the breadheads start their Tuesday evening. Phone is overheating. Ty messaged for us. Um, breadheads, thank you for listening. Um, please continue using the coupon code Laird Superfood. The code's Think Fresh. It's on Laird Superfood. And Ty says, thank you for listening. Ciao.
Think fresh, losers.